Excited to be 3-0. Another great crowd at Jordan-Hare, and thankful for our great fans, students, band, cheerleaders. Continue to be amazed by the support that you receive here at this place, and excited about any time we get to play at home. And obviously, we've got to go on the road this week, but thrilled to be at 3-0. There was some good things, and then some things we've got to improve on for sure. We played a lot of kids, which was good, but a lot of young kids tend to make mistakes, and we had quite a few of those also. And we've got to continue to work on not turning the ball over, particularly in the red zone. And that was really out of our possessions. We had offensively, outside the 2 turnovers, we were pretty efficient offensively. Defensively, I thought we were solid. Particularly with the older guys, and there was a lot thrown at them. They had a good plan to try to stay close and shorten the game, and thought our older guys did fairly well with it. But younger guys made a lot of mistakes, truthfully, and we've got to bring them along because we're going to need them as the season progresses. But excited to be 3-0 and head into conference play.
Coach, can you talk about the run game for a second? You seem to be rotating a lot of backs right now. We're seeing the young guy, Jeremiah Cobb, get a lot of time. Jarquez missed the first game, so he kind of started slow. Like, what do you expect to see from your running backs on?
Well, we really didn't run the ball as well as I'd hoped in this past game, but some of that, they were committed to stopping the run. I mean, they were really anchored in there and bringing the safeties down to the box. Thus, we got some explosive pass plays, but we've said all along we feel good about that room, and I think it's important that we keep them fresh and rotate those guys and try to play to some of their strengths, and like all 4 of them, and like Sean too. So we'll continue to keep rotating them and trying to use them in different packages. And Jeremiah really gives us some flexibility to think he can do a lot of things that we haven't even really gotten to yet, even in the past game. So. He's dangerous with the ball in his hands, so we will continue to explore ways to get our best guys on the field.
Do you have an update on Keontae, and if he's not available, where do you go at punt return? We saw Jalen field that one.
Yeah, we were actually down, Vars our second, and he couldn't play, and so we're down to our third guy, and we got to get some reps this week. Unfortunately, Keontae did not get a good report, and that hurts us a lot. He's our leader back there, and he's going to have surgery today. And just hadn't been a good year for us with injuries. Losing him and Keys on the defensive side it stings and it hurts. And our prayers are with him for quick healing for sure. But we'll be without him for a considerable time.
Hugh, when you look at Texas A&M defensively, they rank 3rd nationally in third down defense. How does that concern you about what you're going to face on third downs this Saturday, and then for your offense, just trying to convert those on the road?
It's a great concern. I want to be really clear. We're playing a team. I'm probably too candid and honest sometimes for some people, but let's just be really clear. We're getting ready to play 3 teams that have, over the last 4 to 5 years, ranked in the top 7 to 5 in recruiting. All right, so you're playing the best recruits in the nation, and we're going to be there soon, and that doesn't mean you can't compete, and doesn't mean you can't win the game and all of that, but there's a reason they're 3rd in the nation on third down defense. Is they've got a bunch of 5 stars in the defensive line and that linebacker and that safety and that corner. I mean, they're really, really talented. And when you put on the film, you see that. I mean, their closing speed's incredible. They're physical up front, and it's a tall challenge for us in year 1 to stand toe-to-toe with A&M and Georgia next week and LSU the following week. That it's our goal to get there. but that's what reality is we've had about 8 months to recruit a half a class, and these others have been stacking it. And that's why they're ranked third in the country in third down defense. Is they're incredibly talented.
I know you addressed a little of the injuries, but you guys are pretty banged up. Is Donovan going to be ready? I know it's early in the week. You may not know the status of some of the guys. And then how do you handle practice this week with so many guys banged up?
Yeah, that's a great challenge. We got to get some young guys ready, and they're going to get baptized into the SEC pretty good in front of A&M's crowd and the talent on that team. So, Keontae, we went through. He's, Xavion and Stutz didn't finish the game the other night, so don't really know where they stand right now. I think DK will be fine, but we need all these guys come Saturday. So hopefully we'll have a good week of rehab and they'll be ready to go. But it's concerning right now, the list that they give me this morning.
We saw Jalen get back there and catch a punt and do pretty solid work. Is how much is he involved in this, and that veteran presence may be helpful back there, especially.
He's going to be really, really valuable for his presence in the back end right now. And then we'll start catching punts with a lot of different people today. Coy Moore has done it. Caleb Burton has done it. We'll get on the jugs twice this week and make sure we feel comfortable with who that is. And Jalen may be one of them too.
You guys have forced multiple turnovers in each of your first 3 games. It's the first time Auburn's done that in 4 years. Just how important is that to have that kind of mentality in defense, especially with those really talented teams you've got coming up on the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a blessing if we could continue that trend to get some turnovers in these games, particularly on the road, would be extremely helpful, particularly if we can take care of the ball. We've got to continue to work on that. But, man, turnovers would play a huge role if we could pick off a few of those in this game.
On Saturday, it's an 11 a.m. kick on the road. People like to say that the road teams benefit from early kickoffs. How do you get your team ready for another road trip? It's the SEC opener, and since it's an early kick at 11 a.m.
Well, I love early kicks on the road. I think our kids will. I don't think that's a huge challenge. Truthfully, it's the same time zone. We'll put them to bed a little earlier, eat a little earlier. But we did that all fall camp. We started early, so it's truthfully will be just like a fall camp day. So I don't think there's a huge adjustment to that at all. And I like the early kicks.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, Hugh, question about your first red zone possession in the last game. I think it was 1st and goal from the 1, and you started passing the ball. Were you kind of experimenting there, or walk me through that?
Yeah, I was disappointed in that a little bit. So I don't mind the first one. Truthfully, I didn't like the second one. I think we've got to probably approach that differently, and I think I've made that clear. So sometimes you put it in your quarterback's hands, and he probably needs to know. But I think we should put it on us for that, and don't give him that option if we're not okay with him throwing it.
Coach, you made a concerted effort to move the ball through the air on Saturday. Texas A&M had the best pass defense in the league last year. You talked about the talent that they have. What are you guys working on this week to continue to progress there? And you used a lot of wide receiver combinations on Saturday as well, too.
Yeah, we're still learning who we are, truthfully, in the wide receiver room. So I think that will continue to be a rotation there. The biggest goal for this week against such a talented team and one that's really, really good on third down is you've got to keep yourself in third and manageable. You can't survive in the third and longs. You're not going to drop back and win a lot of routes against them. They're really talented. So we got to keep it in third and manageable, hopefully short, to where we can run or pass.
Yes, you. Back to the nickel position. I know Caleb Wooden was able to play a lot against California, and then played a lot more against Stanford. What did you see from him?
Solid, but he's got a lot to learn and help, because that star position's got to help get us lined up a lot. And they threw a lot at you, though. I'll say that, and stuff that we really hadn't seen. So that was a difficult challenge. Truthfully, we met this morning, and we're just toying with all the different combinations with our current injuries back there, on kind of what's best, and hopefully DK can play and he'll move into the star position, and maybe move JD Rhyme there, and play the younger corners. We're not really sure, and leave Caleb at the high safety, because we got to have two deep to function, and we're just trying to figure out what the best combination is there, and we're not real sure just yet what that looks like. But Caleb will be a part of it, either at the star or one of the safeties.
You to people like me who don't always understand the intricacies of football, how often do y'all run RPOs? And can you just kind of describe how that works?
Yeah, a lot the other night. I mean, shoot, I bet, I don't know how many completions Peyton had, but I bet 10 of them were on, maybe 12 were on runs, where it's really a box count issue. If you have 6 guys to block in the box for the run, and there's a 7th hat that's present, then the ball should be thrown. And that's about as simple as I can put it. And the other night we were pretty efficient at the RPOs. Robbie was also. I think Robbie was 2 for 2 on 2 RPOs.
We've seen and heard about Keldrick since the spring. Had a little setback coming in, but we start to see more and more of him, his productivity. Is he a guy that you feel like can be one of those playmakers up front as he continues to progress?
I do. He had his best game Saturday, and he's starting to learn. And obviously, they're just young. I like all these young guys. I think our young DBs are going to be good too, but that they're still swimming a bit, learning everything that can get thrown at you in a game at this level. But he had his best game for sure, and we're going to need him moving forward to continue to improve. But he's got the ability to do that.
On the subject of the defensive line, I know you guys talked a lot in the preseason about bringing pressure with 3 or 4 guys and kind of collapsing the pocket. Through 3 games, I know the competition level is about to get a lot higher, but what have you seen from them against an A&M offense that is averaging a bunch of pass attempts per game? Yeah, we haven't done really well rushing the passer with just the front. Some of that, Jalen McLeod's been hurt 2 games, 2 of the 3 games, hadn't been able to perform. So he's probably our best pass rusher, and we've missed having him healthy for sure, and we've had to create it other ways. They present a great challenge. I mean, their quarterback's thrown for 900 yards and 8 TDs, and they got great receivers, one of the best I've seen in Stewart. He's really talented. And I think they're doing some really good things offensively. It'll be a great challenge for us to try to keep them under, hopefully keeping them from having explosive plays, particularly ones that lead to points.
Hugh, after going back and watching the film, how do you feel like the offensive line did, especially with the injuries and having to shuffle some guys around?
Not our best game. I thought our pad level was high. Again, some of it, they really were committed to stopping the run. I mean, their backers were at 2 yards deep, and their safeties were down in a hurry. And but we could have played more physical. I do believe that. So it wasn't our best. It wasn't as good as the Cal game or the UMass game. I think Stutz kind of sets the tone, and losing him kind of, I don't know, he's kind of the leader in the bell cow of that group.
Hugh, Bobby Petrino, his offense is somewhat different, I believe, than most. Could you just talk about, beyond just the talent, the challenges it presents?
Yeah, he's very good schematically, very good at scheming. And obviously he checks a lot of his runs based on the looks that you have, and that makes it difficult. He's usually right. And I think we've got to do a great job of disguising things, but he's going to make you stop 12 personnel and spread sets and everything that makes it challenging. And then you combine the talent level he's coaching with his balance on offense of play action and passes and runs, and the quarterback that can extend it with his legs when he needs to. It's a very, very difficult task.
Speaking of the upcoming talent, I'm curious, just where's the balance, or I guess what's the challenge of trying to hold some stuff and withstand not showing too much tape to other teams, especially before SEC play, but also trying to build the chemistry and build your team and schematics. And typically at this point in the season, this early, how much is still left on the table to show that you guys haven't used or you haven't put on display?
Well, every game you're going to, have an idea of, this may be advantageous for us to do. And some of it you've done, some of it you haven't. That's pretty normal from game to game. And you pick up on a few things you see on tape that you may think, hey, we have this, so we might ought to use it this week. So, there'll be some things, but obviously if you're going to be really good at something, you need to practice it. And so you can't do too many other things than what your kids have already done, particularly us with our young receivers, and they're just now kind of feeling their way into all of this. I'd hate to change too much on them, but you are always going to look for a few things that might help you, compete in a game.
Coach, last week JG asked you about picking a quarterback and kind of sticking with them. You showed that on Saturday. Are you going to continue with that plan on the quarterback rotations going into Saturday?
Well, that's the plan, as long as we're playing well. Look, this is just like life. You got to do your job well. And if you do your job well, things usually work out. And if you don't, things usually don't work out. And we have confidence. And I thought he threw it really well the other night, and made one bad decision, I thought. But the other we kind of should own as coaches. And so hope he continues to build on that. But the guy was like 18 yards away from doing something that I don't know if another Auburn quarterback has done in a long time. You guys say you couldn't find it, maybe ever. But so we hope we build on that, and we maintain and gain confidence from it. At the same time, I've been clear about Robbie has a role. I do believe that, and particularly against the level of athleticism we're getting ready to see, I think there's a role for him too, and he threw it well when he came in the other night. So, but you can't be herky-jerky in and out, and I think that's something we all agree on.
So whenever we asked you about the running back room, it feels like it's always a Jeremiah Cobb's name that keeps coming up. We saw him kind of go out as a wide receiver, out wide it looked like. You talked about just kind of finding ways to get him on the field. What has been the process of finding ways to get him on the field so far?
Draw up a play that we want to run with him and get him on the field. That's usually the way it works. Say, let's go this personnel and put him here, and let's see if we can get him a touch or two, because he just, he's probably the fastest kid we have in that room, which speed is a good thing. And so I like all of those guys, but they're just a little different. And, him with the ball in his hands on the perimeter is a little different than some of the others. So it's just a matter of us figuring out what can we handle within the scheme of what we're doing, what can he handle, and the understanding that we have in it. So we'll always be trying to find a few ways to get him some touches.
On the subject of injuries, you talked about how some young guys are going to have to go in. You said all the way back in the beginning of the preseason, there's no depth chart, going to try to spread around reps as evenly as possible. Do you feel like you might be getting some good returns on that? I know you were trying to get a lot of young guys involved throughout the preseason, and now that their opportunities might be a little bigger.
Well, 2 of the 3 games we've played a lot of kids, and so that's helpful to get live reps. Will it be different at A&M? Yes. It's a different skill set they're going to play against, different environment. And don't know exactly how they'll respond, but we're forced into it at some spots, truthfully, and we're going to have to find out. They're going to have to grow up pretty fast. Thanks, guys.